All right, welcome to the first of its kind, world-changing manufacturers network. Lisa Ryan has her ears to the ground and her heart in the game. Get ongoing education and new connections right here with Lisa and the Manufacturers Network. Buckle your seat, listen, and spread the word. Here's Lisa.
Hey, it's Lisa Ryan. Welcome to the Manufacturers Network podcast. I'm here today with Sameer Narkar. He is the founder and CEO of Konnect Insights, a bootstrapped SaaS platform that empowers enterprises in 35 plus countries with AI-driven customer experience solutions. Under his leadership, the platform now supports 6,000 plus users and 400 plus global brands, managing over 1 billion customer interactions annually across 20 industries. Sameer, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Lisa, for the introduction. Very excited to have a chat with you.
So share with us a little bit about your background and what led you to doing what you do.
Okay. Talking of my background, no guesses. I'm an engineer, software engineer. Started my career about, 15 years back. Started this company some 10 years back. And what we did back then was create a platform where it's easy for brands to monitor social media conversations, engage with the customers, respond to them, which has now become an omni-channel customer experience platform. And as you said, it's been used in 35 plus country, 400 plus enterprise customers. So that's the story where we are today. But when we started, of course, it was a very small startup with me and my co-founder started the company. With 3 or 4 people, we already had about 10, 15 customers. So it was a great journey, but all of us were software programmers. And now I wear multiple hats as a marketer, as a salesperson, and someone who heads partnerships. So that's where we are today.
And if somebody is not familiar with the term omni-channel, what does that mean?
The way to look at omni-channel is to just simplify it in a way where we say that if I'm a customer who is trying to reach a brand, right? The ideal world would be me just reaching out to them on one given channel. Let's say if that channel is email, then that's great because a brand will know everything about me and they really don't have to check on other places. But that's not how the real world is, because I will just not choose the channel that the brand tells me to choose. I may go on Twitter, I may go on Facebook, Instagram. I can comment on their YouTube videos. I can write a blog. If they're hyper local, I can go to Google Business Reviews. I can comment on iOS app, Android apps. I have sites like Glassdoor if I'm talking about my employer, or I have Reddit, Quora. I can go to all these sites and talk about the brand. And it creates a brand perception. And at the same time, I expect immediate replies on any given platform. I can even call them or chat with them. So all this in one unified platform where it gives them a one channel experience, no matter where Sameer is coming from. If I can give them a one channel experience, then that's called omni-channel. That's the problem that we solve. So you don't use siloed platforms and at the same time, you don't hop onto multiple platforms to get that data. It's all unified within one customer experience platform, Konnect Insights.
Okay. So many people hear about AI, but they don't always see how it applies to them. So in simple terms, how can it make work more efficient and less complicated in everyday business?
Every SaaS platform now has AI features, but we need to understand what kind of AI features they are offering. They could be just simple signals on the data that you get, or it can also go ahead and make life easier for the users of the platform. That's where AI can come into the picture. And also it can give you insights the way we consume data today. So whoever uses SaaS platforms, what is important for them is how easy it makes your life and what are data sources that you bring in. Because there could be a help desk platform only offering complaint related tickets. You apply an AI on top of it and your output is limited because you're only having support tickets. Okay. But if that same AI is applied on all data points, let's say there is a brand and all their customer data, entire data on the web is in one single platform, every single conversation that matters, and you apply on AI on top of that, and then you will get beautiful results. where you can ask questions like, how am I faring against my competition? What campaigns can we launch today? How is my brand perceived online? Which influencers are talking about us? What support queries are creating problems? Is there a PR crisis threat? What communication I can have if there is any crisis? All that is possible with AI, but that is only possible when you have one product which has all the data that matters to you. It's not the AI that is the differentiating factor. It's the data source that is a differentiating factor.
And so when it comes to AI, ChatGPT is one of my best friends now, but a lot of times, how are you making sure that the branding is at least sounding personalized and sounding personal instead of yet another AI generated? Because after a while, I think that we're all going to start to be able to tell what was AI generated and what was not. So how are you making sure that brand is connecting on a personal level as well while using AI?
Yeah. When we use AI for general purpose, right? If I need help on writing a blog, or if I want to do a little bit of research on the web, and when we use ChatGPT, Perplexity, or any other platform for our own research and any kind of content that we have to write, it's fine because it's an individual using AI. But when it comes to brands using AI, they cannot have general purpose answers. Their knowledge base has to be integrated with platforms like us. They need to have complete context of the conversations. It needs to be trained on different factors of how brands communicate, right? The AI on SaaS platforms cannot be just an integration with a ChatGPT or Perplexity or any other AI. It has to be built in-house using the best LLMs, be trained on RAG, and then you get these outputs. And AI usage on marketing insights and customer care is very different from how we as individuals use ChatGPT or any AI platform. So any CX platform, you can always check whether they are using their own cooked AI, as we call it, or just using a call to a third-party system and getting AI features. So you cannot build advanced features just by making API calls to a lot of these platforms. You have to actually invest on your own AI infra and offer those features. And I can talk about it in terms of security, in terms of the product features that you need to offer in case of AI offerings within SaaS platforms.
Oh, okay. All right. So growing from one country to serving many others obviously isn't easy. So what are some of the lessons that you learned about scaling that others in growing industries might find useful?
Yeah, every country has its own nuances and how we'll grow there as a business. The way we have grown in this 30 plus countries today is by having a very strong partner network, or an ISV network, as we call it, as independent software vendors. So what we do is we find partners or software vendors like us who can complement our features, and then we leverage on their partner network to build. And as you grow and you try to get into any new country, you realize that things work differently everywhere. For us, when we started in India, it was a lot of digital marketing agencies who were our first clients. And from there, we got to the enterprise brands. As we went into other markets like Middle East or Southeast Asia, we realized that a contact center partnership will really work well. The agency network was not really helping us in those regions. It was very different in UK, very different in LATAM. So you need to spend some time, get some customers via partners in that region. Once you have 4 or 5 customers, get your own people to work in that country along with partners and grow. So this is something that we employ. It's a better way of doing it rather than just investing with your people in different markets and trying to build that market. Rather, from your headquarters, wherever you're situated, just go and find some partners who can do some initial business for you. And once that starts working, have your own people in that country. So that's how we did it, because it's a bootstrapped company. We obviously did not have the luxury of just investing upfront and then making money. We had to make money first and then start investing.
And it seems I know how many email outreaches I get from people every single day trying to sell me their services. And I'm sure that you are also besieged with those. So what are some of the questions that you ask or the way that you determine if this person basically is legit and if
Yeah.
they're going to be a good partner for you?
Yeah. When it comes to customers, of course, there are ways to identify sales qualified leads. When it comes to identifying partners, then obviously when we do outbound reach out for partners, what we do is we get those connections via someone who has a network of partners, and that's a much faster way of finding partners. And when we get inbound leads, then obviously we send across one link to just ask them to answer a few questions. And once they qualify with those questions, we pass it on to our partner team, which then get onto a meeting and identify whether it's a right partner or not. Of course, and because we get a lot of emails, there's obviously someone we might miss out, or there could be someone who is really interesting, but we don't get on a call with them. So these things happen, but there is a separate team of partners who find partners, who work on the inbound leads, and also a small team of about 3 to 4 people who nurture the partners. Because just getting the partners is one thing, but getting business from them requires some nurturing, requires some a webinar, requires some events on ground. So that is part of how we do business.
And so working with not only the regulations or the different ways of doing business in all the countries, but the language barriers and everything else that you run into, how do you really set expectations? How do you build those relationships across those country lines?
Yeah. We have customers, partners in Middle East, Saudi, where you need to speak Arabic. We have folks in Brazil, where it matters that you speak Portuguese, in Latin, Spanish, right? We have our own people now who speak that language. Most of the meetings in Middle East happen in Arabic. Everything in the Latin America happens in Spanish mostly, and sometimes in Portuguese. So we have a team and they speak that language. But initially, before we had our teams, the partners were speaking that language, right? And not just that, but your product also has to be multilingual. The user interface has to be multilingual. So it's a process. Not on day one, you'll have all these features. You'll not have these features on the day you have some few customers. But over a period of time, you need to build those features in a product where the platform becomes multilingual. And at the same time, when you reach out to the customers, there is someone from your side, whether it's your own team member or a partner, who speaks that language. If you are doing business in countries where it's not just English, but the local language is spoken.
So it sounds like you've done a really good job building some of those long-term relationships and establishing trust and partnerships that last in that area. So for somebody who's maybe just getting started and looking for ways to expand their business into different countries, what would be some of your best tips for them to do that?
The best ways to go about this would be be a part of some ecosystem. When I say be a part of ecosystem, means there are softwares who need a partner, right? For example, when we work with someone like Salesforce, it's a CRM, but the product that we offer is a gap within their product. And many a times when we work with CCaaS platform, which offer your contact center solutions, our feature of the product is a gap within their platform. So you identify the gaps where you can actually fill that gap and then be their natural partner. And sitting in your own office, you can just build those features where you're part of some ecosystem. That is one way of doing it. Then identify their partners and try to connect with them. Because it's important that you just don't pray and say that I'll just try in all these regions and then see where the success comes from, and then I'll focus my areas over that. You really have to shortlist a certain set of countries where you can do business. Ideally, if in our case, we first identified the English speaking countries. We directly didn't go into Spanish, Portuguese, German, or Arabic market. No, we rather identified the English speaking markets first and then tried to do our business. And then some of the things is where you really do outbound and certain things will be inbound. Okay. I was just talking to a friend of mine who works for another SaaS company, and I asked him, why did you choose Nigeria as a country? You have 55 customers there and you're doing some $3 million business. He said, we didn't choose. When we did some outbound campaign, the first interest came from Nigeria, where the partner was ready to pay $100,000 just to become a partner. How can you be more lucky? So You said, fine, my first partner came from Nigeria, let me invest over there. So there would be efforts of outbound, there would be efforts of inbound. And depending on that, wherever you get your first few set of customers, you go there and build your business. And then use the network of someone who is already there. So there are various ways of leveraging partner network. There are ISV partners, there are distributor partners. Try to get meetings with them, see what's in benefit for them, and then start doing business. So it's an ongoing process. You need to be also lucky in certain cases where things might work for you. So luck definitely plays a major role. You might put 80% efforts and get 20% results. And it could be the other way around also. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a saying that the harder you work, the luckier you get. So one of the things that you mentioned was identifying the gap, like you work with Salesforce and you were able to identify a gap in their program. How do you tactfully let someone know that basically there's a gap and that you can help them fill it without coming across of dissing their product?
See, it's an ongoing effort, right? You start small, you build your product, it gets to a certain stage. Then you have your own network of people who work with you. You just build your connections as you grow. So it takes time. If you have done this, maybe it happened for us in the 6th year that we realized that there is a gap over there. It's a gradual process. And obviously, you as founders, entrepreneurs who are 24/7 thinking about your product, about your company, different ways of exploring. Whenever I talk about our journey, I say that this is how our journey was, not necessarily that it will be the same for others. But there are different ways of connecting. And in today's connected world, things are much easier, I would say. Things are difficult in a way because now there are restrictions on how much you can reach out, emails, and even if you call, there are restrictions. So those challenges are there today. But then there are so many opportunities also because getting information is much easier. Now you can take the help of AI, even ask questions. What are the ways I can get entry in this market and can give you some insights? So you really don't need consultants or mentors to give you insights on how to grow. But every product, once you have, so my belief is if you have 5 customers who are using your solution, right, there is every reason there could be 50 customers who would be using your solution. There could be 500 customers. There could be 5,000 customers. If there are 5 enterprise customers, then just truly believe that at least your product is a market fit. And once your product is a market fit, and once you get to that level where your product is on par with many products in the market, then it's your tactical or your strategic decisions that will take you through. But at least be 100% sure that it's a best product market fit once you have 5 enterprise customers using your platform. So that's where the confidence comes in, and then you start to reach out to various ways of collaborating. Because even with our solution that we have today, we have other products who complement our features, and we want to take them, right, in every new opportunity, leveraging our salespeople. So there are a few smaller companies with whom we work, and our sales team sell their product because it helps us sell our product. So similarly, find out reasons why much bigger platforms will sell your product, because it's all about leveraging the power of the sales team of other people to sell your product.
And I really liked what you had to say about just getting those first 5 customers, because it seems that when we start our own business, we are absolutely in love with the idea, whether or not it's marketable, and looking for that as a goal of, listen, if I have 5 customers that are actually using it, then yes, I do have a marketable idea, versus not being able to get those customers and maybe having to change direction or something without investing so much time, effort, and money in something that over the course of time is not going to be marketable.
Yeah, you go through various journeys, as in when you're building your own company. First, when you don't have any customer, you're just meeting so many people, trying to understand what is the right product. Then again, come back, change the ideas, work on something else. So it's an ongoing effort to get those first few set of customers. And I believe that why would someone buy your product when you're not good with anything? You're just not good with anything. I remember my early days when we got our first few customers. I go back and ask them, there was no one reason you should have bought our product, right? There were so many others in the market which were much matured, price point was never a problem for you because you were anyways enterprise. Why did you buy our product? And they'll come back and tell you that, say, it's not only about the product features. People see how much passion you have, how much you can support you. So those things do come into picture. We are humans. We are not AI, right? We don't take decisions only based on data and facts. We take decisions based on certain set of emotions also. And I mean, my first few customers are my best friends today. They liked me more than the product that I had to offer. And that's why you get your first few set of customers. So I truly believe that there is absolutely no reason why they should buy your product when you're new in the market, because you don't have a team, you don't have the matured product, yet they are paying you money. So those early days, there's no rationale why someone takes your product.
Yeah. And we've talked a lot about AI, and technology is just going to keep changing the way people and companies connect in the next 5 to 10 years and so on. What shifts do you think are going to matter most for businesses when it comes to these changes?
It's always difficult to predict the future. It's difficult to foresee what can happen in a couple of years, but it's not difficult to foresee what may happen in a month's time. Okay. So you should definitely have a product roadmap that's there for about a year, 2 years, and always be alert, proactive, be ready to change the core features of your platform if the market demands. Always listen to your customers, stay in touch, understand what competition is offering or where the market is heading, and at the same time, come up with your own ideas to implement things. And just the way technology is available, you need to have the best people in your team who are techies who tell you this could be the better way of implementing AI, or that could be the other way of achieving your product features. And whatever you're doing, you need to be in love with the changes that are happening and not get worried by it. Like the biggest of the companies, OpenAI or Perplexity or Google, they keep innovating and they keep tap of where the world could go. We are much at a smaller level. Even compared to them, someone like a Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics products, these are products. These are not someone who are, at least for Salesforce, is not innovating on the AI front, but they stay updated on what's happening in the tech and use the best of the technology. At a much smaller level, we can also do that, but you need to stay alert. You need to have the best techies working on your platform who are updating you where the tech is heading. And not think too far. We cannot really predict what can happen in a year's time, but of course, we obviously know what can happen in a month's time, and accordingly keep adding features or make changes to your product. Because in today's world, there are definitely better ways of achieving how we have achieved some product features.
And one of the things I know I talk about in a lot of my programs too is attracting and retaining employees. And you just mentioned a couple times as far as getting the best techies, the best people to work for you. You all are fighting for the exact same people to come and work for you. So what are you doing that you're finding that it's working to not only attract people, but to keep them once you get them? What's making it work for you?
Yeah. I mean, see, we are there in market for about 10 years now. We have folks who are working with us for the last 8 years. Some of the guys who joined our company, it's their first job. They're still continuing it. And obviously, there are a certain set of people who keep moving. Now, you cannot control this, definitely. Every month, we have 7 to 8 people joining, and there are at least 2 or 3 who are resigning. So that's something that will keep happening. But the core team that you have always have to be updated, right? There could be a fresh talent who comes with some kind of talent and leverage that. But your core group who is never going to leave that company is also equally expert. That is an important factor because you cannot control, let's say, a third or a fourth layer, but you can control the first core group and the second core group who is in your company for multiple reasons. You just love the work culture. You are very close to the founders. You enjoy working here. There's always something new happening, a lot to learn, and other factors, right? So people don't leave when they're in love with your culture. They're in love with the tech that you're working on. And of course, you're paying well. So as long as those 3 factors are controlled, at least your core group will not think of leaving the company. Whereas the third or fourth layer who join you, who were hired because they were really good you paid them a lot. You cannot control that group. So it's bound to happen.
All right, as we get to the end of our time together, if somebody did want to connect with you and learn more about what you do and continue the conversation, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you go on LinkedIn, search for me, Sameer Narkar, you'll find me. Or search just for Konnect Insights. It starts with K, not with C. Konnect Insights, and you'll find me there. I'm not so active on X or Twitter, but my handle is @Sameer Narkar on Twitter. So please drop or tweet or LinkedIn DM, and I'll respond to you on Twitter or LinkedIn.
Sameer, it was a pleasure having you on the show with me. So thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
I'm Lisa Ryan, and this is the Manufacturers Network Podcast. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Manufacturers Network Podcast. Do me a favor and share this podcast with your friends and colleagues so we can grow this network and connect more fantastic folks just like you. You can either send your buddies to the website at manufacturers-network.com or share the Manufacturers Network podcast on your LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or wherever you and your industry friends hang out. The bigger and faster we grow the network, the stronger and deeper the community we'll all have. Thanks again, and I appreciate you.